to the open ocean. At its narrowest point, it is only about 20 miles or 32 kilometers wide. Yet every day, massive oil tankers pass through it, carrying energy to the rest of the world. In fact, around 20 million barrels of oil move through the strait daily, accounting for about 20% of global oil supply. That oil comes from several major producers in the Gulf, including Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. Much of it is headed to energy-hungry economies in Asia, including China, India, Japan, and South Korea. Because so much of the world's energy passes through this single route, experts call it the most important oil checkpoint on Earth. That means if the strait becomes blocked or too dangerous for ships, the effect can be felt almost immediately. Oil prices can spike, shipping costs rise, and countries around the world can feel the economic shock. The current conflict with Iran has raised those concerns again. Recent reports say Iran has deployed naval mines to the area, and commercial tankers have already slowed or halted their journeys through the strait. Some analysts warn that even a temporary disruption could shake global energy markets. In short, the fighting may be happening in one region of the Middle East, but because of the Strait of Hormuz, the economic impact could spread across the entire world. That's why governments and energy markets everywhere are watching the situation in the Strait of Hormuz very closely.
Yeah, that's a nice piece put together by our chief news editor, Peter Okoche, telling us, where the whole thing is all about, because the Strait of Hormuz, like he said in that report, over 80–90% of global oil passes through that area. Iran is a major member of OPEC, and the U.S. says, look, your oil should not get to those other countries. India buys Iranian oil, Russia buys Iranian oil. So the politics around this issue, oil, as well as the political and diplomatic issue around this war. Iran says, well, UN Security Council meet and come to our aid. The Security Council has sat, and from what we can see, it's a case of the global powers, actually the main global power, having its say, talking about the US. My guest is joining me from London, Mr. Paul Ejime. He's a global affairs analyst, and he gives his perspectives to all of this. But myself and him are going to start from home, so to say. Mr. Peter Ejime, the issue around Nigeria's foreign representation. President Bola Tinubu, so to say, is our chief diplomat. He goes, he travels, he ensures that he tries to tie up these deals for Nigeria. And over 2 years since he recalled, 2.5 years, yes, since he recalled all the ambassadors from the almost 109 missions, although we used to have about 96, 97 of them as ambassadors and high commissioners. He is yet to, the only person who has gotten a letter of credence, so to say, agrément, is Aminu Dalhatu, the man who will be receiving President Tinubu when he gets to London next week for the invitation sent to him by the King of England, the King of is it the King of England? Yeah, he's the King of so many places, talking about King Charles. So let's talk about that. But before we get into the conversation, there are some salient issues I would like to bring to the fore in this report, which I package. Mr. Ejime, my producer will serve us that report, then we'll discuss once that report runs its course.
Of the Senate in December. As the clock continued to tick in the countdown of the end of the Tinubu administration, he, the president, finally unveiled the postings for the ambassadors designate. 65 of them, even as Nigeria often has had just under 100 such ambassadors at the helm in its 109 foreign missions. There are 17 women, 10 of whom are career diplomats, headed out there to be the ears and eyes of President Tinubu. The administration may beat its chest that with just over 25% of the 65, it's sure making progress with gender mainstreaming. But the bigger issues are securing of agrément for these ambassadors designate. According to the statement from the presidency, only one of them, Amin Dalhatu, the erstwhile ambassador to South Korea, who retired 2 years ago, has got the nod of the country to which he has been posted, the United Kingdom. Well, this may not be too far-fetched. By the 18th of this month, President Tinubu will be in the UK for a state visit, as announced late last month. And for such to have been announced, Dalhatu's acceptance by the British government was a done deal. Agramo for all the others, the Nigerian government said is being pursued. As it is in diplomatic circles, no agramo, no resumption of the country to which you are sent. Invariably, there is no way letters of credence will be presented to the head of state by a top diplomat earmarked to head a mission. Looking at the postings, one may say it will be a tough one for the Nigerian government.
I'm referring to the posting of Chief Femi Fani-Kayode, a former aviation minister and presidential aide to the Federal Republic of Germany. Fani-Kayode has been highly critical of Israel and the Netanyahu government since the war broke out in Gaza 4 years this October.
Germany has a strong anti-Semitism stance. It was not surprising due to the Holocaust in which over 6 million Jews were killed. What comes to mind is that probably Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister, Yusuf Tuga, who was Nigeria's ambassador in Berlin for a long 6 years, from 2017 to him becoming minister in August 2023, may have some magic wand or rapport with the German political establishment that may see Fani-Kayode sail through. Retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ibas, the former Chief of Naval Staff, is poised to head to the Philippines. Upon his retirement in January 2021, during the Buhari administration, he was appointed alongside the other service chiefs, including Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, as ambassadors, ostensibly, critics say, to shield them from prosecution after office. The ICC, the International Criminal Court, had a year earlier announced that it was opening an investigation into the Lekki toll gate shooting, which reportedly killed dozens, an allegation denied by the Buhari government to date. A nexus is that the immediate past president of the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, is incarcerated at The Hague facing charges of rights violation while he held office between 2016 and 2022. Duterte's successor, Benigno Aquino Jr., handed him over following his indictment. So, is there a moral question if the Philippines grants an agrement for Admiral Ibas, even as he and Buratai and others were not indicted by the International Criminal Court? So, the deployments have been announced. Resumption for the other 64, aside Dalhatu, is what Nigerians await.
So I bring in my guest now, Mr. Paul Ejime, Global Affairs Analyst. We played that report. We had it a couple of days ago to set the tone for this discussion. Mr. Paul Ejime, you've looked at the list of ambassadorial, not nominees now, not designate now, but those who are set to be posted. The issues around posting of ambassadors. What's the practice? You're a global affairs analyst. You've been on this turf, as somebody who is in communication. The Nigerian authorities do the proper thing because we're getting reports now that some countries, let me be specific, India, one of several anyway, has said, whoever you're sending, we're not accepting because that person will have just over a year to be with us, in your term, referring to President Tinubu's term. Did the authorities get these things wrong?
So, from the reports that you and Peter have Okoche presented, I mean, there are very controversial background to it, the context. Given that these are coming not early, rather late in Nigeria, that is sending of deploying of ambassadors after those who were there were recalled, more than going to 3 years now. So one would have thought that in appointing these ambassadors, these are the faces of Nigeria in all these other countries, that meticulous and thorough methodology would have been applied. But from all indications, going by the backlash and the criticism that have trailed this, you will notice that you wouldn't really say that this has been thought through. For instance, particularly, well, where the number of non-career ambassadors against the career ambassadors, and then where you are also deploying the career ambassadors, because of course there is politics in everything. In every politics is local. You want to try to what is it called? Pay back or show gratitude to those who have supported you. What you call patronage. But naturally, patronage should have come, should have made just a non-significant percentage. The accent should have been on merit, meritocracy, and then professionalism.
Okay, let me raise.
Particularly when we know where Nigeria is coming from, that we need our image is not that good outside, and you need people that will be on, straight, do the job, and not just do it on a political basis. No, diplomacy is different from politics.
No, but for those
you cannot separate that.
Okay,
yes,
sorry.
Go ahead.
For those who are in political authority, they mix those things up. It's been a practice that there will be political appointees. Like those who are in politics say, this man is troubling me. Let me get him out of the country. Let him go and relax in one country and represent me there. I'm just saying that, but diplomacy is a serious business. The career diplomats always seem to believe that they get the short end of the stick. If you look at that list, almost all the African countries to which ambassadors were posted, career diplomats were put there. Only very few of the postings outside Africa have career diplomats. Only about 2 or 3 countries out of the other posters. So my key question is that, because I raised the issue of Chief Femi Fani-Kayode, a cerebral person in himself, but his strong anti-Israel stance. And the authorities announced that he'll be going to Germany, a country that anything concerning Israel, they seemingly kowtow because of the seeming guilt of what happened during Nazi Germany. Will his posting, do you think it will sail through?
Shala, I didn't want us to personalize this issue. I wanted us to talk in general terms and maybe begin to zoom in on the individual, because it doesn't make sense. We're talking about our country,
yes,
and our image. So what is there is that, like I was saying, there is, you cannot find a thorough job that has been done in this, and that is why you will, for whatever reason, pick somebody that you have mentioned to go to Germany. What happens to all the other 164 people if you know that this person was there? Was there this background check? Did you check what these individuals have done? Was it just a case of Nigerian attitude, Nigerian style, that it will you are doing it the way you are running the country? No, this is your relationship with another country, and like you said, you have to follow the best practices. You follow the diplomatic norm. Diplomacy is not winning an election. It's something that has come on from a very long time, and then you need to follow it. There are conventions. Okay. What I see playing out, and I'm not the only one pointing this out, is the dysfunctionality of Nigeria's international relations, and then the disconnect between the villa and then the foreign ministry. You will begin to ask, what is the input of the Nigeria's foreign affairs ministry in all these nominations? Now, of course, they will tell you they couldn't have, but at times I have seen it. At times, the presidency, those there, play major parts in getting these people, because they are around the president. Yeah. They now get people they are trying to give this political patronage. Well, you can do that with local politics. when it comes to your relations with another country, you are going to be held account. You are not going to be judged by local standards. You are going to be judged by international standards. And it requires, it's not something you just wake up and begin to, because you are the president or because you are there, you want to, you are holding a high political office. It's not the same thing as becoming an ambassador. And that is why people are questioning the fact that the president for some time thought he could use his own office to do Nigerian diplomacy. It doesn't work. And here we are. If you don't follow that tradition, that standard, it will hurt you, because others are not. They are not. It's not charity, and it's not conducted on sentiments, or sympathy. They are going to hold you accountable, and you will look at what is happening now. When last did you hear that people are being sent and are being rejected, and you didn't know the fact that India, they have this. India is a Commonwealth country like Nigeria, and all you have had relations over the years. It never occurred to you that this type of principle or policy is that Delhi maintains this type of policy. And what are you doing as what is your foreign affairs? What is your foreign policy? If you cannot now read and understand the political what is it called dynamics in a country with which you have had you have had relations since independence. You are telling me you didn't know. It's only now that is coming, because they play politics with everything and localize it to the point that they are at the expense of international relations. And this will hurt Nigeria's image. It will hurt. Meanwhile, this is a government that says it will attract
foreign
development investment. It will attract foreign investment. It will attract this and attract that. People are watching, combined with the baggage of insecurity that the country is dealing with. You now add this failure of the fact of doing a thorough job, being diligent in the way you choose people. You have more than 200 million people to choose from.
but of course,
no.
When we say, Mr. Ichime, that we have over 200 million, the truth is that not everybody will be the head of our mission out there. Only about 98 or 100 at the most. And
that
like you've said,
you have to be intentional and very, very thorough about it. Okay, but the opportunity is there for you. Are you saying, okay, we'll even reduce it to 30 or 100? Is that the best that the country can produce?
So you have
this is the issue.
Okay, so you have your own views about those, but like I have always said that if some of these ambassadors are rejected, you have also added that there are over 200 million Nigerians who can replace them. I'm going to take you up now, Mr. Ichime. The president of Nigeria will be in the UK as the guest of King Charles next Wednesday, next Thursday, 2 days. The last time a head of state, the president from Nigeria, was in that country on the state visit was in 1989. Ibrahim Babangida was then Nigeria's military president. Those of you in the UK, Nigerians in that lovely country, how are you hoping to use this platform to Nigerianize the UK, so to say?
Well, let's go look at what used to be Anglo-Nigerian relations, Nigerian-British relations. Is one of them, should be one of the best, given the fact that Britain, was the colonial power in Nigeria. And so it dates back to, it's a very long, even the amalgamation that we talked about in 1914, and, before independence in 1960 and Republic in 1963, Britain is written large about it. And you have a good number of Nigerians in the UK. So you still find this dichotomy of those who are looking up to it to welcome the president, and then others who are saying, well, but it's an opportunity for strengthening of relations Okay, but I can also tell you that Britain they are not sleeping. They are not. They are trying to ramp up security details about this because of this visit. Because there might be some Nigerians who will come out to protest over what is happening over there. Some are sending money home, but that money they tell you how these things are interconnected, the nexus between the diaspora and then those at home, is that they are making money, and the diaspora remittances, constitute a very large chunk of revenue in Nigeria. Many families are looking up to it, but they will tell you that what they are sending, or the demands and requests they are getting from home over things not working, is more. Of course, you have economic crisis, economic problem all over the place. But in the case of Nigeria, things are not what they used to be. Things have gotten on bad, and then the money, if you were sending 100 pounds before, because of the request, everybody is now asking, looking up to those in the diaspora. So it's going to be, let's go back to what the visit will do. It can, try to strengthen or make relations better. But that is as far as state visits go. Remember that the king is, just a symbolic head of state.
Yes.
There is a prime minister there, and so on. And remember, this is also a country where the prime minister called one of the Nigerian heads of state that they have a president from one of the fantastically corrupt country, if you remember.
I recall.
So you don't forgive, these are things that you can Google, and then the internet does not forget. So you look at it and know what is symbolic, what is tokenism, and what is reality.
Okay.
How can, they can strengthen. Nigeria is struggling with insecurity.
Correct.
Can the British people, with all its own problem, support Nigeria, giving with weapons to fight, and be on Nigeria's side, not just by saying it, but in reality?
Okay.
These are some of the things. And what are the other? Remember that Nigerian students, their favorite destination used to be Britain. But Britain has come out with some very strong policies that has impacted on that.
So these are issues that I'm sure the Nigerian president will be discussing with the king. Of course, all those things will trickle down to the government, Keir Starmer and his team who are running the country. And Mr. Jime, I'm sure when the visit commences next Wednesday, we'll be able to get you on our news to give us some perspectives of how the visit is going as a global affairs analyst and someone who lives in the UK and knows that community. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on today's edition of the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, and that's our program for this week. I do sincerely thank you for watching. Do have a lovely evening.